In the last video, I got all the beams finally mounted on this truck, got beam pivots done, kind of showed everything going on in that, and said the next thing up was going to be steering and shock mounting. So going to go ahead and get started on steering stuff. So I've already gotten some swingers drawn up. I've been working on drawing some stuff on CAD. I had these things are up at bump right now, or kind of up at bump. So it was kind of just measuring a bunch of stuff and drawing on the computer, and I've gotten everything ready now to get cutting out on the plasma table. So I got everything drawn and programmed, and gonna go fire up the plasma table and get all of the swinger parts cut out. And then there's a couple pieces I need to get made up on the lathe, and we'll have everything we need to start getting some swingers and tabs on. And once I get the swingers done, we'll move on to making some tabs for the knuckles. And yeah, laying out some steering. So to the plasma table we go. I got everything off the table and back in the shop now. And this is something I normally don't kind of show too much stuff. I kind of always have the welding clips. Figured maybe I'd throw in something a little different for this video. And show you a little bit in between of some of my welding prep of what I do. I TIG weld everything I do here in the shop. And coming off the table, these are not ready to be able to go on the welding bench. The plate that's on my table, it's got a little surface rust on it from moisture and humidity, but that'll just clean up with the DA sander. So the orbital, I use that. That'll be used on the top and bottom surface of everything. Everything I cut out on my table, I do that to clean up. Yeah, even if this didn't have this little bit of surface rust on the top. You know, this is like what the bottom side, it doesn't have the surface rust, but just dirty, and clean it up with the DA, gets just a nice finish on there. The other thing I got to use is a flap wheel. Take that flap wheel, since this is plasma cut edge, plasma cut leaves you a mill scaled edge, and that does not weld very nice with the TIG weld. A MIG welder, you could probably get away and not notice it as much, but for a nice weld and the best possible weld you can get, that really needs to be all cleaned up and ground off. So that's what we use that for. All of pretty much everything, the whole outside has got to get cleaned up with that. So the other thing is all my bolt holes. My bolt holes, the table I have is a low budget plasma cutter on it. It's not the most expensive, nicest cutter there is. The consumables don't last the longest, and because of that, I always cut my holes. I cut these about 10, 15 thousandths undersized, and then I use a drill bit and drill them out. So I'm going to set up a camera and show you some of my metal prep, getting this stuff now ready that's off the table, getting this ready for weld, grinding the orbital, drilling out holes, and cleaning it all up and making it look pretty so we can get the welder out and start welding stuff on it. And just like that, with a little bit of work, got a bunch of nice cleaned swinger plates cut out from the table, all cleaned up. All the edges are sanded on everything, all the surfaces are DA'd, and everything is ready to weld. So I ended up turning up, these are the sleeves for the swingers, that'll go in there like so, with the different plates stacked on there. I have some aluminum slugs I use for fitting all this stuff up and welding, so that will go in there like so, on each end, and then I can set these things up. And then I still need to turn them. This is just one I had, but this is a Delrin bushing, and that's what will end up going in there eventually, is a Delrin bushing on each side once this is actually bolted up in the truck. So that's what we're working on now. I'm ready to start welding on these things. I've got all these little teardrop overlays for all this stuff. So these are the swinger tabs that are going to go on the frame itself. Got these little teardrop overlays that I need to get all welded up on those 4 tabs. And then I've got these 8 teardrop overlays to double up the thickness for the bolt holes on all the swinger pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and start welding all that stuff up, and then we'll be able to take these and start assembling them up on our tube there. And then these are the gussets that are going to overlay on the back side and in the front here. So got these swingers all welded up. Pretty pumped on how these things came out. This is going to be the driver's swinger here. Got a little gusset on there, pretty dope. And that just got the one drop down being on the drivers. The reason this has got a second spot here for an arm is because that will be the tie rod coming over from the pitman arm. So once I get that all laid out, you'll see how all the steering and everything gets connected to those. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with how those came out. Those things are fully welded up, ready to go on the truck. So to get them on the truck, that's kind of what we're doing. Next thing we need to do is get the lathe going, and we're gonna have to make some bushings here. So need a set for both of these. So I got to whip up 4 of these. This here is called Delrin, D-E-L-R-I-N, Delrin. It is a hard plastic. You can hear how loud on that metal, that ting. You know, it's a very, very dense, very hard plastic. It's known as what would be like a wearable plastic. So this is like a wearable item. This is a consumable. Over time, these will get loosened up. So the intention is these go in here like so, and it allows this surface here. It has a high like melting point on temperature. So for friction, this is kind of known as like a self-lubricating plastic. It does very good with like heat, friction, wear resistance. So a bolt can slide on the inside there. It can pivot in the swinger there, and it's not going to get too hot and all gummy and misshapen. So that's why we use Delrin in these types of examples. Delrin can also be used in, you know, not here. Well, there you go. That would be like a Delrin bushing in there. Some people could use rubber. Rubber and Delrin. Rubber allows movement. So if you've got something that is binding due to articulation and you need a little bit of flex, you got to use rubber. But if you have good geometry in your setups and your links, stuff like that, you can run a Delrin bushing and it'll pivot on that Delrin bushing, and no give is needed. So anyways, long little rant on Delrin. We're going to get set up on the lathe and start whipping a set of these out for these bushings. And then we can take some tabs. I've already realized I'm going to have to end up making a different custom set of tabs for the passenger side because the frame is different. But the driver's side, if I get a set of bushings whipped up here, I can probably tack these in position on the driver's side. So that might be kind of where we end the video here, is trying to get at least that one on. And yeah, let's get over to the lathe and get that thing fired up. There's our first look at the first swinger. Pretty pumped at that. Right at the end of the video there, I'm kind of looking, taking a lot of measurements on this thing, and been kind of waiting to this point to kind of really finalize a lot of stuff. And so that's why you still see these bin pivots. You know, they just got a couple tacks. You know, there's a tacks, and then there's one kind of heavier tack just to really make sure that they're not moving. So I could cycle these beams. And now that I've been working on steering, something I kind of noticed when I hung these is I was thinking I was going to maybe try to actually put these a little closer. And now that I've got this swinger up there, I think I've kind of just confirmed that. So this is kind of one of those things with building and things that I want to maybe try to show like a better job of on here is just because, you know, this is now going to be probably my third time cutting these brackets off and tweaking them. And I'm talking, I'm looking to move this one forward about 3/8 of an inch and this one back about 3/8 of an inch. So I got to do an equal move because they are set right now equally. So if I want to move this one, I need to move that other one. And we're going to get into that, I think, a lot more in the next video. I think we're just going to cut this one off here, and I'll get into more why I'm going to move those beams and position and get a little bit over kind of more technical stuff on how I'm hanging these and, yeah, why I want to move them now that I got this swinger in here kind of in its position. So, obviously, kind of same thing. This thing, I took a bunch of measurements, I'm eyeballing, and got the swinger as close as I can get to it in position with a clamp on it. So anyways, we'll get into that in the next one. For now, here's a little look what it's going to look like. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out all my stuff on my channel, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.